This week's best MMA bets, we're talking UFC Vegas 105. I'm going to give you guys my lock of the week, my most confident picks on the card, favorite underdogs. We'll talk Degen Props of the night and then finish it out with the parlays. So make sure you guys smash the like button. If you're new to the channel, subscribe, turn the post notifications on, and make sure you share the video too. Last week was amazing. Clean sweep across the most confident picks, and the Savage Dog lock Melquizio Costa comes through. The Savage Dog's been killing it. 6 out of the last 7 weeks, we've been on point with them, and the one loss was relatively questionable on Hollowba. And we're on a 2-fight Savage Dog lock win streak. I'm damn excited for UFC Vegas 105. I got another Savage Dog lock as I continue the Thunder in 2025. And I'm also pretty hype about some of the other segments that we're going to go over and talk in depth about. This is going to be good. Maybe not the most stacked card, but some savage plays on the horizon. So without further ado, we're jumping right into it. The lock of the week.
Dangerous David Grant!
Davy Grant Savage Dog lock of the week. I had to go with Dangerous Davy. The OG is about as gritty as they come. And he's an underdog again against Willie Cat, who I like. I think Willie Cat's a good kicker. I think his striking's pretty solid, decent jiu-jitsu. I know he just recently got his black belt. He's a skillful up-and-coming prospect, but completely unproven at 2-1 in the UFC. And he's been out for a year and a half now. And you really can't rate his most recent win that high. I mean, it's a W over Munoz Jr., who now is not in the UFC any longer and lost the following fight. And then you dig one fight back. He did beat John Castaneda, but he got dropped in the first round, and Castaneda gave him a bit of trouble. And let's keep it real. John Castaneda is nowhere near the level of striker / mixed martial artist in general that Davy Grant is. Outside of that, the Julio Arce loss in his debut. Willie Cat is a decent prospect, but he's taken on a grizzled veteran who I know is worrisome because he's 39, but Davy Grant has yet to show us the signs of slowing down. He has a really good striking flow, multi-shot combinations. He's not just a boxer, right? When you think of some of these Brits, you just think of the heavy hands. Davy Grant can rip punches, but he also has a pretty masterful kicking skill set on top of having quality grappling and good Brazilian jiu-jitsu submission threats. It's not just offensive wrestling or defensive wrestling. He had a badass inverted triangle against a Sun Tzu on a comeback. Davy Grant is one of those guys that never wilts or gives up on himself. He gets busted with big shots. He gets tapped up nice. He's not going to quit. He's going to keep coming forward. He's going to keep looking to win the fight. And that type of mentality is the Savage Dog lock mentality. How could I overlook it? How could I not Savage Dog lock Davy? And I like his chances in this fight. I think Willie Cat leaves himself open a bit as he's throwing these big combinations. And I feel as though Davy could land some big shots on the return fire. I expect Davy Grant's takedown defense to hold up nice because I do have a feeling that Willie Cat's going to look to wrestle. I can see the kicks from Willie Cat having some effect, but I think Davy could crack him with big shots right back. I could see him hurting Willie Cat. Do I think he puts Willie Cat away? No, I lean the decision. I think we got a competitive fight and a gritty decision. The thing about Willie Cat is you look at even the, fight 2 ago, which is the Castaneda fight. First round, he got fucked up, but he is a quick starter. And then he started breaking Castaneda. He doesn't have that here. Even if he finds success early, as this fight slows down, as more time continues through, Davy Grant will get more and more accurate and effective. I believe Davy Grant's better in the second and third round in a lot of matchups. Willie Cat's going to look to show speed early and use that youthful advantage on him to start the fight. But as things closen up, Davy is going to get closer and closer with big shots, and he's going to start to find them. Davy's going to mix in some nice kicks. Davy's going to land some big combinations in exchanges, and I think he's going to outstrike Willie Cat. If things go to the ground, I don't think that Davy Grant's going to have too much trouble. I think Willie Cat has decent jiu-jitsu, but he's not exceptional there. Nothing that makes me say, wow. And when you really think about Davy Grant's last 5 fights, with perfect scoring, there's an argument he's on a 5-fight win streak. Beat Ramon Tavares, who's a heavy-handed prospect in the last one out. Fight before that, bad decision loss potentially to Daniel Marcos. He was definitely live in that entire fight. And Marcos, undefeated still, just beat Adrian Yanez in a close fight and is closing in on the rankings. Way more proven than Willie Cat. Fight before that, the comeback against the Sunsao, and he shows his unreal grit. Fight before that, finished Louis Smolka, as he should have. And the fight before that is that close fight with Yanez, where the reason he probably lost is because of the blood on his face. If you have different judges, one judge in, one judge out, these split decision losses are easily wins. So I have the momentum all on Davy Grant's side with a ton of UFC experience and looking good even into his later stage of his career. I think Davy Grant is so live in this fight. The gritty Brit is just too valuable as an underdog because you know he's going to fight for your money. Little size advantage too over Willie Cat. I look forward to seeing them face off because I want to see how the height difference looks. If they say 1 inch, 1 inch taller is Grant, 2 inch reach for Grant, but I think it could be a little bigger. I don't know. Willie Cat looks shorter than 5'7" to me. He gives me 5'6" vibes, but we'll find out during the weigh-in show, so make sure you tune into it. But yeah, Davy Grant's going to be the savage dog lock. I'm feeling good about it. I'll read the line off. I'm talking so much about the fight. I'll go plus 135. Davy Grant locked the money line. Now, I do think there's a chance this fight goes over 2.5 at minus 180. I do think maybe you're like, oh, bro, I don't know, Willie Cat. You want to play the spread? That's a possibility. We'll talk the spreads on Friday, per usual. And I think Davy Grant to win this fight by a decision is live, but don't chase method of victories. Go for the money line. Grant decision is plus 215. I think Grant outdogs Willie Cat. I think Willie Cat is running into the savage dog, and he's not taking my savage dog lock down and out. We got Davy Grant, the OG of OGs, the most badass 39-year-old in the world, taking out the shoot the box prospect and Daniel Willie Cat Santos. Lock, savage dog, Davy Grant for UFC Vegas 105. Let's jump to the next section. There's more to talk about. We got savage dogs getting me all excited over here, but I do want to talk about some most confident picks on the card. Let's bring them up on screen, and we'll go run through the slate one by one. So first up, we're going Lerone Murphy, main event winner. As much as Josh Emmett's power is extremely effective, it is true that he is 40, but it's not because he's 40 I'm picking against him. It's because I don't think he's going to be able to sleep a guy in Murphy who's crafty and well-versed in all areas. Murphy has a good stand-up game. Say what you want about the lack of knockouts, right? He's not a great finisher. I'll give you that. For sure, he is a subpar finisher, but he does have decent punch combinations. He does bring a well-versed MMA game plan. He picks his shots well and has a relatively high fight IQ, and he's a workhorse. And I think Josh Emmett, you're going to say, oh, bro, but you savage locked Davy Grant. It's a different instance, right? This is top 10 in the world versus, Davy fighting an unknown prospect. Not necessarily unknown, but unproven prospect. I think Josh Emmett gets outworked. I don't think he can land the one and just flatline Murphy. I think he can land a big one. Murphy can recover and give Emmett some problems. I think he could back him up. I think he could land even takedowns in this fight. I think Murphy just outworks him to a skillful and competitive decision. I think Lerone Murphy gets it done. I feel like he's crafty in all areas. I would say well-versed skill set takes home the W over a Josh Emmett, who I don't see winning a 5-round decision. I really only see Emmett by KO. I don't think he outworks Murphy for 5 rounds. I think Murphy can put up a better pace. I think he can land more strikes. He's got a higher output, I believe, and I feel like it's going to be the Lerone Murphy showcase here. Now, I get it. The lines suck. Minus 308. Ugh. Ugly line for Murphy's biggest fight ever, but fuck the lines for a second. Looking at the fight as is, I think that the win is Lerone's, man. Hair's getting long, bro. It's like knocking the hat down, bro. It might fly off during one of these damn videos. Don't love the side of, chasing a money line here, but it's a parlay piece possibly, and I do think there's a good chance it comes through. Murphy is minus 110 to win by a decision. Now, Emmett by KO plus 400. For those that are worrisome of the Emmett knockout punch, maybe you're going for a slight hedge on Emmett by KO to match up with your Lerone Murphy parlay piece or maybe even a decision prop. I don't know what you're doing. But I want to say this, and I want to say this very seriously. I do not believe Josh Emmett is going to be to the same caliber he was in the past. He's been out for a while, and that is because of some issues, underlying issues with previous injuries. And his knockout of Bryce Mitchell, though super impressive, Bryce Mitchell is not Lerone Murphy. Lerone Murphy is undefeated as a pro fighter. I have to favor that aspect of it, too. He's proven to be able to put a good pace on opponents, and I think he can outwork Josh Emmett over 5 hard rounds and get the biggest win of his life and put himself in a spot to be talked about in the title picture. So Lerone Murphy, who doesn't have a lot of hype behind him, Murphy's not a crazy needle mover, but he definitely has the skills to back it up. So I'm going Murphy. Next up, I do think Joannis Brito knocks out Pat Sabatini. He's minus 240, ugly favorite. I know some people are feeling like Sabatini going to take him down and just sub him. I guess I'm having a hard time seeing it. I really think that Joannis Brito's grappling defense should be quality here. And the fact that he's not dealing with someone with this, massive height or reach advantage, I feel like he'll end up looking good. Brito's still quality in grappling. He's very physically strong, and he's got heavy hands. Brito by knockout makes perfect sense. It's plus 110. It's not an amazing line, but I do think Brito gets the KO. And I'll tell you what caught my eye. Under a round and a half, plus 120. I feel like this fight's going to be quick. I feel like it's Brito under a round and a half. And if Sabatini's to win, I don't think he's outworking Brito, wrestle fucking him for 3 hard rounds. I don't see Sabatini chain wrestling him all night, and just controlling. I say under makes sense. Under 1.5 is plus money as well at plus 120. I like Joannis Brito to win. I like him by knockout. I'll tell you this, man. There'd be a lot more Brito confident pick callers if he was a minus 130 favorite. Minus 140 even. But because he's minus 240, it's like, oh, well, Sabatini plus 205. He could sub him. Brito's quality with his jiu-jitsu. Oh, well, he was taken down a bit. He was taken down by Pierce a couple years. Oh, he was getting out grappled. Okay, it was quick instances. Then he ended up pulling off the perfect sub. And I get it. Yes, Sabatini ran through Pierce. I get it. Styles make the fights. And I think that the power factor of Brito is a big deal. I don't think Sabatini responds well to punches. If he's unable to dominate in the wrestling department and find a finish, forced onto the feet with Joannis Brito, I think Sabatini is going to be so uncomfortable. And I think he's getting laid out in the first round. So I'm going Joannis Brito, first round knockout is the official pick. I do think he pulls through against the tricky grappler. If this was jiu-jitsu, pure jiu-jitsu, yeah, I'm probably going Sabatini. But I feel as though you can't overlook Brito because of the bad decision loss to Gomez. And it's like, oh, well, then Hyder Emil gave Gomez problems. Fucking stop with this MMA mash shit, all right? There was a big win streak for Brito, and every motherfucker was talking like, yo, Joannis Brito is going to be in the top 15 after he beats Gomez. And now he loses a bad decision. And sure, it wasn't the most impressive performance. I get it. Close fight, he ends up losing. And it's okay. Now he sucks. Now he sucks. That's it. And he was in France for the fight too. So now at the Apex, bro, he's comfy at the Apex. Brito, knockout. Sabatini's not going to be able to deal with this animal. I'm going Brito by KO as a confident pick. Next up, ladies fight. Yes, I'm throwing a ladies fight on the slate. I'm a savage like that sometimes, guys. Dione Barbosa better submit Belbiţă. If she doesn't submit Belbiţă, then I don't know. Nothing makes sense because Molly McCann subbed Belbiţă in the first round. She lost to Molly twice. But besides that, Dione Barbosa is a high-quality grappler with a developing striking game that just went 3 hard rounds against Miranda Maverick. She's skillful. If it's not a submission, it's a dominant decision, but I think it's going to be a submission. And I saw something interesting. I saw this clip of Belbiţă saying she's opening up her own gym. Like, yeah, she wants to win, but it's not the biggest concern. Bro, I know Dione Barbosa's not talking about, oh, it's not a big concern. Like, oh, I'd love to win, but it doesn't really matter. Barbosa's not saying that. She's dreaming of making it. Dione Barbosa by sub, she's going to want it more. She's going to handle Belbiţă, and she's going to submit her. Dione Barbosa by sub. Now, yes, the money line sucks, minus 1,000. But I'm seeing minus 800 available. So it depends where you go. My bookie, they say, he's got minus 575. I don't know if that's true, but that's what it says here. Barbosa by submission is minus 105. I'll predict the sub. I think she's strangling Belbiţă. And to be honest, though, if you told me they're just striking, Barbosa's going to beat her in stand-up. Belbiţă's too stiff. She keeps her chin tucked, so she's durable, but she doesn't really get much explosive power on her shots, and she eats way too many punches. Barbosa all day long, dominance, and I think a finish. So we're going Dione Barbosa as a lock, as a chalky-locky. Next up, Kennedy Nzechukwu for the W. Yes, Buday's getting laid out. F this shit, man. If Buday beats Nzechukwu, I'm walking off the stream on Saturday, and I'm going to have a utter meltdown because Buday is awful. Buday is awful. He's at such a speed disadvantage. He's at a reach disadvantage. I think he's just simply put at a skill disadvantage. What, is he going to just smother Nzechukwu for 3 rounds? Buday is a plodding striker that reminds me of striking from 2003. And I think Nzechukwu is a pretty high caliber striker / athlete, even though I know some losses, the OSP fight sucked, but he's coming off 2 quick wins. And I feel like he looked pretty good at heavyweight. I feel like we got a better Kennedy Nzechukwu at heavyweight. He's carrying big knockout power, which I think he always had. But on top of that, now he's not cutting the weight. And I think his gas tank's better. I think he's more confident. He's stronger. Buday's going to get outstruck. Buday got put out by Gaziev. He just got walked down and bullied. To be fair, Nzechukwu could end up pulling off a submission because it's like, you know, he has some subs in the arsenal. He's a well-rounded guy. He can mix things up with grappling if need be, but striking is going to be where he enters his flow state, and I think Buday is going to be way too slow. He's going to get caught with big counters. I think Nzechukwu probably has a field day. I see some teeps up the center, some straight punches. I think Buday tries to close the gap slowly, and Nzechukwu cracks him with a big shot, maybe finishes him off with a little ground and pound. Maybe, though, a club and sub, so not crazy to consider. Instead of chasing for, you know, the knockout prop, you say to yourself, you know, maybe inside distance is the call. Money line is wide. It's minus 310 for the money line. But inside distance, you do get some plus money. You get +2. Oh, my God. Plus 105. I'm looking at the decision line. I got too excited. Plus 105 Nzechukwu inside the distance. Now, if you keep moving through, looking at Nzechukwu to win via submission is plus 800. You know, there's always a chance, but only one sub win. But it was against a guy who can kind of grapple in Devin Clark, but knockout's way more likely. The KO line sitting at plus 150. I'm going to say that Kennedy Nzechukwu goes out there and ends up getting a KO win. I feel like it comes to fruition. I'm starting to giggle to myself. I'm like, what if Buday caught him with a bullshit shot? No, trust the tape. The tape tells me Nzechukwu is levels above Martin Buday. Stop it. Stop it. Stop it. Buday ain't shit. All right? Buday is a plodding striker that's stuck back 20 years ago in the heavyweight division, and he's coming off of a split decision against an aging Arlovsky. Realistically, he should have lost against Drezhki in that fight. It was a bullshit split decision. And then, like what? Wins over Jake Collier in a close one, Josh Parisian sub, Shamil Gaziev knocking him out and running over him. And Nzechukwu is quality enough to handle a guy like Martin Buday at heavyweight. I'm going Kennedy and Nzechukwu for the W, getting it done. Those are the most confident picks, but wait a second. I'm going to give you one more. We're going Loma Lookboonmee for the W with this one as a little extra love, but the line sucks. Istela Nunes is a great round one fighter, but she's not going to take it home later here, and I think it does go longer. Minus 700 for Lookboonmee. She's a fat favorite, and I will go a little more in detail about some ideas on how this fight could end during the prop section. So we'll talk about the rest of it there. But I am adding Lookboonmee to the slate. I think she handles Istela Nunes, who's pretty one-dimensional and has shitty cardio. Let's jump to the favorite underdogs. The Savage Dog Lock already in the books, but I still have more underdog picks on this card. I am seeing a handful of dogs, and things can get crazy when you're picking a lot of underdogs, but we got to go with what we got to go with. It is what it is. Okay, first things first. We got Pedro Falcão, plus 175. I think he can win a competitive one or potentially get a submission over Victor Henry, but I am slightly worried about Victor Henry's volume, so I'm telling it as it is. I see this as more of a 50-50 fight or a 55-45 fight. I think Falcão has legitimate jiu-jitsu skills and some power in his hands, and he's got really good pressure, but Victor Henry normally does have decent takedown defense / offense in his own right with good multi-shot combos and a high output attack. It's just Falcão, I'm feeling like this jiu-jitsu he's got is actually pretty damn nice. And he had such a short notice debut against Hugo and did good early in the fight. I'm like, I got to give him some credit on a full camp taking on Victor Henry. I feel like Falcao's live to win this thing. I'm going with Falcão plus money. Plus 175. Not telling you it's the lock of the century. It's not the Savage Dog Lock, but it is a dog pick, and I tell it as it is. Now, looking towards how do you want to pick it? Falcão by sub is the big plus. It's plus 600. If you want to chase Falcão by sub, not going to strongly advise it, but just worth mentioning. And then if you're thinking to yourself, oh, maybe Falcão by decision makes more sense, plus 425. But if you are thinking about betting Falcão, the money line is better. I do think he's live to win this thing, but to be fair, still unproven prospect versus semi-proven veteran in the UFC now in Victor Henry. I guess we're going with a little bit of faith in the game of Falcão as the up-and-comer. So we shall see. Let's keep running through. We got more. Next up, This one, you guys might love, you might hate. I think Rhys McKee can eke out a competitive decision against Frunza. Frunza hits really hard, but Rhys McKee has a block head. He's got a damn good chin. He gets cracked with big shots, but he eats them, and he kind of fires back at a relatively slower rate, but is effective with accuracy. Does come on strong later in fights, does not give up on himself, just has that insane ability to just not lose faith in what he brings to the table. And I feel like with the range advantage, the UFC experience, a long run in Cage Warriors, Daniel Frunza's an unproven brawler. Yes, he hits hard. Yes, he dropped Cootsie, but he also got dropped. I think Frunza is a power hitter, but I feel like Rhys McKee can absorb some big shots here, make it competitive, maybe even surprise Frunza with a little grappling. I don't know if McKee maybe could lock something up tricky on the ground. Plus 138 for McKee to win. He's been in the UFC now, his second run? He's 0-2 on the second run. He was 0-2 on the first run, but to be fair, one of those fights was against goddamn Hamzat, so give him an excuse, all right? 0-3 with a loss to Hamzat. That he's beaten everybody, so what does that even matter? You know what I'm saying? I'm thinking to myself, McKee's got experience in the octagon. Frunza, I mean, you give him credit. He did fight on Contender, so he did fight at the Apex before, and I guess that's some value. But he got dropped. He was firing shots back. He's been taken down. He's been outworked. He's been out-controlled. I feel like McKee to win a close one is not a crazy outcome here. I think McKee's a live dog at plus 138. Decision win for McKee is up plus 400. Not telling you to chase it. Just worth mentioning. Surprising that over 2.5 is plus 115. I feel like Rhys McKee goes out there and pulls through with a very hard fought, like 29-28 decision. Frunza's throwing power bombs early. McKee absorbs them and maybe is able to come on strong later. But yeah, man, we're going to see what Frunza's all about. We got some UFC experience versus a lack thereof. Competitive fight. McKee's a man now, though. He's not the 25-year-old that he was in the first UFC run. He's 29 years old. He's had a lot of MMA fights. He went on a nice win streak over in Cage Warriors before coming back. Last fight, he went distance against Nzechukwu. It was a bullshit split. He lost unanimous, but still went 3 hard rounds with Nzechukwu, who just absolutely ended Zaleski. So give McKee some respect, and Frunza completely unproven. I'm going to go with McKee. Next up, Valentin. Am I a menace to society? It's plus 205. Is he going to get wrestle fucked? I know Taurus Finney is built like literally the fucking Hulk or maybe the Thing. I don't know. One of the two. The dude's just muscles. That's really it. His wrestling is strong. His top control is strong. But look at the Cam Ralston fight for a second before you're saying, oh, he's going to dominate. Third round, he was gassed. At the end, he's got his hands on his knees. Ralston was having some striking success late, and Ralston don't have the grappling of Valentin. I know now there's this narrative Valentin has no grappling because Ryan Loder fucked him up on the ground, but he did have Loder's back and nearly had the rear naked choke in round 1. Valentin is a submission threat on the ground, and he's definitely a power threat on the feet. Remember that knockout on the damn first fight for that season of The Ultimate Fighter that Valentin was on? Absolutely destroyed that guy. Off the top of my head, I can't remember the guy's name, but I know he's fighting at PFL this week. I think that Valentin is a live underdog. I think Finney is unproven. I think he could gas in the third round. See how Finney does, but I look at the Ralston fight, and Ralston, tall, long guy with a kickboxing base. Valentin, more MMA-based skill set, does have tricky jiu-jitsu with the striking power. So I'm thinking to myself, is Finney going to struggle to pass that guard? So is he just going to lay and pray in the guard 3 rounds? Or does he land some takedowns early? Fight starts to wear on. He struggles to pass and dominate. Valentin on his feet starts finding some success. Maybe Finney takes him down. Valentin bursts up. Round 3, now Finney's been going at a hard pace, dealing with a guy who's being resistant to his onslaught. And now Valentin lands some death shots on the feet. I think Valentin could knock him out in the third round. Maybe even somehow submit the guy with no neck. If he's gassed, he could get subbed. I think Valentin's live for a big upset. Plus 205. I think Valentin can pull through. I'm not sold on Finney. I know he's a strong wrestler, but it's not like he was a high caliber wrestler. He's a smothering wrestler. And if he's tired, he's getting laid out on the feet. I can see elbows. Elbows on the inside could work well for Valentin. I could see him rocking Finney and Finney going down. Valentin KO plus 650. Valentin sub plus 350. Valentin in round 3 plus 1600. Valentin in round 3 is a degen-ass bet, but round 3 is possible if Finney survives early. But to be fair, though, when Valentin's on one, he's a fucking monster. He gives me Yuri Prohashka vibes, and I feel like he's got a UFC career ahead of him. I don't think he's getting washed out 0-2 after The Ultimate Fighter. I feel like he's going to beat Finney, man. I think Finney is limited, and I think people are overlooking his flaws because they like the jacked build, and he's a nice dude, and he's easy to get behind, right? He's a cool guy. Valentin's a psychopath. He's a sick savage, okay? And he reminds me a bit of Yuri Prochazka. I'm going Valentin. I don't care what anybody has to say. All right, next up, the final of the underdogs. I think Cortavius Romeois ekes out a split decision. I see him in a close one. I don't think Chang Ho Lee is all that good. He's got smothering clinch work, decent grappling, but it's taken down too. Romeois got strong wrestling, explosive striking, submission threats. Why is Romeois being completely overlooked here? Why is he plus 116? I thought that he could have been at least even money, but I thought he could be the favorite. He opened up at plus 160. What the fuck? I'm saying Romeois as an underdog wins. I think decision win Romeois is plus 315. Split decision Romeois plus 900. Wouldn't blow my mind if it's a close-ass decision. Romeois, I think, is faster in striking. I think Chang Ho Lee is tricky with the way that he hangs on to you in grappling with the clinch, and it's annoying, right? The way he smothers forward. But I think Romeois can handle. And I think Romeois will look quick, and I think he'll land some big shots. And in a close one, he'll eke out the decision. Another road to UFC guy, too. I'm a doubter of the road to UFC talent. Contender Series over road to UFC all day. It's the battle of the shows, and Contender Series got a special place in my heart. I'm going with my Contender Series winner. I'm going Cortavius Romeois, savage underdog pick here, and I think he pulls through. Those are the favorite underdogs. I feel like my enthusiasm got relatively higher with every fight. I don't know if you guys noticed, but I did it kind of in reverse savage order of how I'm feeling, because I don't know, man. Romeois, I got a good oomph about. I think he can pull through in a competitive one. And I'm thinking to myself, okay, I'm looking at the matchup with Valentin. I think he brings the danger threat enough so that I feel like he really can win. Now, with Rhys McKee, he lacks power, but he could survive the early onslaught, pull through. Falcão, if he can get the takedown, we'll find out. If he struggles with the pace, I don't know. Yeah, man, little reverse order surprise for you guys. But I still am picking all four of those savages, and I'm feeling good about them. I'm looking forward to this week, man. I'm looking forward to these savage dog calls. Now, I do want to jump to the prop section. Now, there's a couple props that I feel like are potentially worth our while. So let's discuss prop number one. I think Demopoulos by decision is a live outcome, plus 125. Kind of sucks just playing it straight. Potential prop parlay piece, but I do think she outworks Alencar over 3 rounds, unless Alencar gets her in an armbar. That's probably the only other result is Alencar armbar. Now, I like Romeois and Chang Ho Lee. We just talked about this fight in depth to go distance. Over 2.5 is minus 180. I think that's a live possibility and not a bad bet. Romeois decision, I'll read it off again. Currently sitting at, plus 315 range. So, we just mentioned it, but somehow it left my mind for a second. The Grant and Santos fight, I do think is live to go over 2.5. That sits at minus 180 also. I think that's a possibility. Now, I said I would mention this fight, Loma Lookboonmee. Loma is live for a submission this fight. Submission for Loma sits at plus 400, so the bookies kind of know. Because I feel like, though, we got to say, Istela Nunes, after the first 6-7 minutes, gets tired. She's dangerous as hell early in the fight, but if she don't land that death touch right hand and put, Loma Lookboonmee to bed, she's not going to pull through. She's not going to win a decision. I feel like Lookboonmee is live in round 3. I also think she's live in round 2. It's plus 700 round 2, plus 900 round 3. If you're feeling like a menace and you want to go round 3 submission, it's plus 1400. For round 2, it's plus 12. Degen ass calls, but just things that came to my mind that I saw as a potential outcome. Because I could see Lookboonmee wearing down Istela Nunes, working her on the ground a bit later in the fight after some kickboxing throughout. And I think the submission is a live threat. And man, I just can't pick the 0-4 Istela Nunes to pull through against Lookboonmee. So that's why she's on the confident pick section. I'm liking those calls, man. I'm feeling pretty damn good about everything that I talked about in depth here with, the multiple segments we've already gone through. And I feel like everybody's just waiting right now. Bum, 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 bum. Bum, 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 bum. Let's do it. It is time for the parlays. Now, real quick, yes, this is last week's success rate. Now, of course, some of the lines had changed because, Pyfer was out of the fight. So the, Fire one dropped into the plus 800 range. I talked about it on the recap show in depth. If you want to go rewatch that to see a more in-depth accuracy of what the lines looked like for the fights without Pyfer, because I recalculated everything, but I didn't save it and write it down. My mistake. Some post-weigh-in calls that came through as well, which I thought were pretty damn nice. So feeling good, feeling real good, feeling fabulous. I want to bring up this week though. Okay, we're doing great. Success rate is high. Confidence levels are absolutely through the roof, and this week needs to come up. this week needs to happen. Let's get this beautiful lineup brought to us, okay? Let's bring it in. Look at this beauty. Look at this. Look at this great success. Looks fantastic. All right, so we're going to go one by one. I'm going to talk about it all, okay? Boring but safe. And Nzechukwu and Barbosa both probably win, but minus 182 just bores everybody because you guys want plus money. I understand, but I had to bring it up because it's boring but safe. Now, Murphy and Nzechukwu, you got minus 134, safe, but also on the boring side. But it is what it is because if you're winning, you ain't going to be bored, okay? Now, to keep on moving down, the odds are progressively getting better. Plus 102, I do think Murphy and Nzechukwu and Barbosa are three very live, chalky, confident picks that should pull through. Now, another confident slate is Murphy and Nzechukwu and Brito. If you're one of those people that are like, dog, I don't bet women's MMA fights. Okay. Brito instead, plus 152, I feel pretty confident about. Now, a little alternate action. I wanted to come up with something nobody was expecting. Grant Santos over 2.5. Garule, who I do think wins in a close one, but Osborne's going to be a tough fight for sure, so it's a worrisome alt. And Murphy at plus 191 to bring something a little different, you know? Now, if you're looking for the Savage City, you want to go main event winner with Savage underdog lock. I mean, plus 209 is the Savage City. There it is right in your face. And I think there is a good chance that it comes through. Now, big W call, Grant, Murphy, and Brito. If you're looking for, a little more than 3-1 love, plus 346 for that parlay. Now, Grant and Romeo Ace is just a straight underdog onslaught at plus 419. Odds are pretty good, and likelihood feels pretty high. And I got an even better Savage dog on at the end. You can see it at the bottom, but hold on a second. Let me keep talking. At plus 494, I think this one's good with Grant, Murphy, and Nzechukwu and Brito. I do believe those fighters are all winners. 3 of the MCPs, most confident pick sections, and then Savage Dog Lock Grant to pull through. Now, next up, we got Grant, Murphy, Brito, and Nzechukwu, Lookboonmee, and Barbosa to sweep the confident calls in the Savage Dog Lock at plus 697. Now, I got a little prop alternate here. Brito KO, DMOP decision, and Barbosa sub at plus 871. But if you replace that DMOP decision and you grab the nutsack and go to war, it's plus 1224. Now, if you're a lady watching this show, I guess, it still metaphorically applies, even if it doesn't biologically speaking. But yeah, Savage prop right there at plus 1224. I think that's a Savage prop call, and I think it's live to come through. To keep on moving through the slate, Grant, Murphy, Brito, Nzechukwu, Lookboonmee, Barbosa, and Romeo Ace. You're a Savage at this point. Savage Degen plus 1652. Listen, we've been hitting some big parlays, man. We've hit some big ones. 2 weeks ago, the plus 1200 came through. So things have happened like this. It's not like it's a super rare occasion. Is it going to hit every week? Maybe not, but maybe. Maybe. And I say yes. Now, I did a 5-dog Degen Savagery lotto ticket because I just felt I had to have some fun with this one. Grant, Falcão, McKee, Valentine, Romeo Ace. Yes, 5 underdogs altogether. If they all win, plus 10,003. Stranger things have happened in this world, okay? So it's not an impossibility. Now, if you guys been watching the weigh-in show on Friday, you know that I like dropping some post-weigh-in plays. So I'll be definitely on it this week with some more heat just to add some things or potentially make some adjustments after seeing the weigh-ins. But I feel good about everything I'm looking at right here, and I'm damn excited for this card to go to war with some Savage parlays. And seeing how last week turned out, I feel nice. I feel ready for UFC Vegas 105, and I hope that you guys like it. Now, I'll let you know. Don't blindly tell. Do some research, If you want your highest probability of success, I'm laying out the templates. Do a little research yourself and see where we line up on things, right? To give yourself the best chance here. Because 2 minds is still, right? Technically speaking, better than 1. Even though I got a big head, bro. This noggin's relatively large. So the size of the brain on the inside, it ain't bad. I'd say it's pretty good. But either way, do your due diligence, okay? Do it. I hope you guys enjoyed this week's Best MMA Bets. I'm having a damn good time breaking it all down for you guys. So make sure you all hit the like button. If you're new to the channel, hit subscribe. Turn the post notifications on and make sure you share the video too. I love each and every one of you savages. I appreciate you guys for always supporting me. I'll have plenty of content dropping throughout the week. Keep your eyes open. There'll be some type of news reaction dropping very soon, tomorrow. So Pay attention. Pay attention, people. Much love. Let me know in the comments what you thought of the Savage Dog Lock and all the other picks and bets. I want to hear from you guys. Drop your favorite underdog. Drop your favorite most confident picks. Drop your parlays. Drop the props. Let me know what you're thinking. I want to hear from my people. And if you got nothing to say, W in the comments to boost the algorithm for your boy. Thanks for watching, folks. I'll see you on the next one. Much love. Peace out.